Hello, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Welcome to a very special episode of WallE Talks. Now, as you know, it's the holidays, and so with that, it's finally time to talk about one of the most Christmassy things I can think of. No, it's not Santa Claus. No, it's not the Grinch. It's Pere Marquette 1225. Wait, you don't know what that is? Fine. Roll the intro and I'll be right back. Oh, great. Here we go again. Another special. So, a lot of you probably have no idea what the heck I am talking about, which is why I'm here to explain myself. First of all, what the heck is Pere Marquette 1225? Well, let me explain. Pere Marquette 1225 is a steam locomotive, obviously, but it is the locomotive that served as the basis for the locomotive in the Polar Express, the book and the movie. Yup, that's the Polar Express, baby. However, you're probably asking, how did this locomotive become the Polar Express? Well, you contacted the right nerd, because I am going to tell you all about that right here on WallE Talks. Let's start from the very beginning. Originally built in 1941, Pere Marquette 1225 served on the Pere Marquette Railway. One thing to note about Pere Marquette is its wheel configuration, which makes it a Berkshire locomotive. You're probably asking what the heck is a Berkshire, but it's an engine with 2 leading wheels, 8 driving wheels, and 4 trailing wheels. Stuff like that. It would serve the Pere Marquette Railway until the railway merged with the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway in 1947. Unfortunately, the locomotive was retired in 1951, only serving 10 years. Now, there's some good news, obviously. This locomotive survived the Cutter's torch, and it was actually donated to the Michigan State University. So, 1225 would sit at the university from there on, from 1957 onward, completely motionless and silent. That is until a young boy would stumble across the locomotive. This is where we meet the next character in our story. During the locomotive's years as a display piece, a young boy known as Chris Van Allsburg would be seen playing on the locomotive. And he noticed one thing, the locomotive's number, 1225, which happened to also be the date of Christmas. And if you don't know, this boy would eventually go on to write the book known as the Polar Express, using this locomotive as a basis for the one in the book. Eventually, years would pass and the locomotive remained on display. That was until a bunch of students took interest in the locomotive and formed the Michigan State University Railroad Club. And eventually, they would take on the goal of restoring the locomotive back into working order. And eventually, they did it. After many decades, in 1985, the locomotive would move for the first time under its own power. And 3 years later, in 88, it would haul its first excursion service. And from here on, the locomotive still rides the rails. Now, going back to the Polar Express, in 2004, a little movie known as The Polar Express was released in theaters. Now, the locomotive in the movie was heavily modeled after 1225. I mean, pretty much it's the same locomotive aside from a few alterations. But at heart, it is Pere Marquette 1225. To the point where many sounds were used from the actual locomotive. Well, except for the whistle. The whistle came from something else, another iconic engine, which I may talk about someday. Also, because of the fact it's related to the Polar Express, the Pere Marquette 1225 also hosts a Christmas train from Owasso, Michigan, where it's currently housed, to Ashley, Michigan. Now, unfortunately, it's called the North Pole Express instead of the Polar Express due to copyright stuff. And yeah, I wish it was the Pole Express too, but copyright stuff, I hate it. To this day, it actually still hosts the Christmas train. Well, except for last year because of some major running gear work that had to be done. But don't worry, 1225 is still here and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And you know, I'm glad. And hopefully someday I get to ride this iconic piece of history. So, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching me blabber on about a steam locomotive of all things. You know, I appreciate it. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button and, you know, maybe along with operating systems, I may talk about trains as well, if you want me to. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta catch a train. So, until next year, this is Awesome WallE. Stay awesome and have a happy holidays and have a happy new year.